Luli quickly realizes something terrifying. This blood slave is fast, faster than any opponent he has ever faced. The difference is not small. It is like comparing a predator to its prey. Meanwhile, a spear of blood materializes in the blood slave's hand out of thin air. The moment it appears, he wastes no time. He lunges forward, aiming to end the fight instantly. The attack comes with such speed and force that even reacting feels impossible. But somehow, Luli manages to block it just in time. The moment their weapons clash, a brutal force surges through his body. The weight behind the spear feels unbearable, like a mountain pressing down on his arm. Pain shoots through his bones, and for a moment, it feels like his arm might snap. The impact does not just affect him, it shakes the entire battlefield. The ground beneath him crumbles, unable to withstand the sheer power. Stones shoot into the air like cannon fire, and shockwaves travel far beyond the fight itself. Knowing that standing still means death, Luli makes his move. He uses Shadow Clone alongside Rending Burst Blade, weaving through the chaos with both offense and defense. His body flickers between movements, dodging attacks while launching his own. But the Blood Slave is not just strong, he is relentless. Without hesitation, the Blood Slave responds with Warhorse Trample. The moment his attack lands, the earth itself suffers. A massive hole opens beneath him. Stones fly in every direction, turning into deadly projectiles. Even with all of his skills, Luli barely avoids the attack, each movement bringing him inches away from destruction. The Blood Slave finally speaks, announcing himself with arrogance. He makes it very clear that he has been sent by the Blood Moon City Lord to end his life. There is no hesitation in his voice, no doubt, only the certainty of a killer who believes in his own strength. Luli's heart sinks. This enemy is on another level, far stronger than the so-called king of Tapini. Fighting in his current state is not just difficult, it is suicide. His body has not recovered from past battles, leaving him weak. There is only one choice: retreat. The Blood Slave does not give him that chance. Without a moment's pause, he launches his next attack, swinging the blood spear with terrifying speed. The attack is merciless, designed to kill without hesitation. And it does. The blade slices through the air straight into Luli's right arm. A sharp, unbearable pain explodes through his body. His right arm is gone. Blood pours from the wound, staining the ground beneath him. His mind screams in agony, but there is no time to dwell on it. Gritting his teeth, he grabs his bleeding shoulder with his remaining hand and forces himself to move. Outrunning the Blood Slave is impossible. He knows that. The speed difference is too great. But then an idea strikes. If he channels Rending Burst Blade into his legs, maybe, just maybe, he can escape. Without a second thought, he does exactly that. Power surges through his legs, and in the next instant, he takes off. His body moves faster than ever before, pushing past the limits of pain and exhaustion. He runs not out of fear, but because survival is the only option. The Blood Slave watches Luli running and lets out a smug remark. He acknowledges the speed of Rending Burst, but sees it as nothing special. In his mind, no technique can ever allow a weakling to escape from someone like him. Without wasting time, he surges forward, closing the gap between them almost instantly. Luli's mind races as fast as his legs. The speed he has gained is enough to keep moving, but the cost is too high. His legs are no longer just aching. They have gone completely numb. The strain on his calves is unbearable, each step feeling heavier than the last. Worse than that, the bleeding from his shoulder has not stopped. His strength is slipping away with every passing second. Maintaining this speed any longer is impossible. The moment he slows down, he will be caught, and when that happens, there will be no escape. Instead of relying on speed alone, he makes a quick decision. The terrain must become his ally. Without hesitation, he takes a desperate leap off the cliff, aiming for the water below. The Blood Slave, already right behind him, swings his spear, but the attack misses by an inch. Luli vanishes beneath the surface, escaping at the very last moment. The cold water engulfs him, but he does not waste a second. He immediately activates Phantom God, using the Fishman race ability to transform. His body shifts, adapting to the water, and in an instant, he becomes a creature built for underwater speed. His weakened body no longer matters. His movement in the water is faster than ever. Without looking back, he surges forward, making one last desperate attempt to escape the monster above. The Blood Slave stands on the cliff, looking down at the water with zero concern. To him, this is not an escape. It is just a delay. His blood spear rises, and with a single motion, he unleashes Blood War Explosion. The attack is beyond devastating. The entire stream reacts violently, rising like an ocean during a storm. Waves surge so high that they reach the level of the cliff itself. But water is not the only thing in the air. Blood, so much blood, splashes everywhere, mixing into the violent waves. The force of the explosion is so powerful that every single creature in the water dies instantly. Fish, beasts, anything unlucky enough to be caught in the blast, nothing survives. The blood slave gazes at the destruction with satisfaction. The scent of blood fills the air, and he breathes it in like a fine perfume. The taste of slaughter, a sight of chaos. It fuels his twisted existence. He knows the truth. Lu Li has nowhere left to run. Lu Li lies on the shore, broken and barely clinging to life. His lower half is completely gone, leaving him in a state where even breathing feels like a struggle. Pain shoots through his body, but at this point he has lost so much blood that even pain starts to fade into numbness. The sound of hooves draws near. The blood slave arrives, still seated proudly on his horse, towering over Lu Li like a hunter savoring his victory. His voice carries the arrogance of someone who believes the fight has already ended. The hunt is over, and now it is time to finish the job. Lu Li's mind drifts. Frustration fills his thoughts. After all the struggles, all the suffering, he's about to die again, right after managing to revive. If fate had a face, he would punch it, hard. His tired eyes shift toward the sky. The moon above is only half visible, covered by drifting clouds. A strange sight catches his attention. A red beam of light streaks across the sky, moving toward them. Confusion grips him. He has no idea what it is. Neither do the people watching from a distance. To them, it looks like a shooting star, and in their ignorance, they begin making wishes, blissfully unaware of the destruction heading toward the battlefield. But this is no shooting star. The beam of light strikes with terrifying precision. In the blink of an eye, it tears through the blood slave's abdomen. The result is instant. His entire lower half vanishes, erased from existence. One moment he is towering over Lu Li, full of arrogance. Next, half of his body is missing and his life is slipping away. The truth is revealed. The attack came from Lady Wu Yu, and she has chosen the perfect moment to do what she does best, annihilate fools who think they are invincible. The blood slave, now reduced to a disintegrating mess, stammers out a single question. He wants to know why. Why she did this. Why his miserable existence had to be erased in such a humiliating way. But Wu Yu does not waste her breath on the defeated. She watches as he crumbles away without offering a single answer. Some creatures are simply not worth explaining things to. Wu Yu shifts her gaze to Lu Li. Her expression carries no pity, only mild amusement. She remarks on his pitiful state, pointing out that every time she sees him, he somehow looks worse than before. It is almost impressive, almost. Lu Li, still drenched in blood and barely holding on to life, forces out her name. But Wu Yu shuts him down immediately. If he wants to address her, he better use the correct title. Master. The blood slave, now barely alive and fading fast, struggles to speak. He tries to explain that everything he did was not for himself. It was for the city lord. Even in his final moment, he sounds like a pitiful servant clinging to a master who never cared. Suddenly, the air turns strange. It crackles and sparks with red lightning. A beam of red light cuts through the sky and lands with a heavy thud. The ground shakes. Out of the beam steps a tall, proud figure dressed in deep red, followed by two winged monsters who look like they crawled straight out of a nightmare. These minions shout to announce the arrival of their master, screaming his name like it means something. Lord Sui, the so-called ruler of Blood Moon City, has arrived. He does not walk. He storms in, angry and loud, like a spoiled brat who lost his favorite toy. He yells at Wu Yu with all the fake pride he can gather, pretending to care about his precious blood slave and some vague business deal. Wu Yu remains calm. Not even a flicker of concern shows on her face. She asks him what he is talking about with the tone of someone who just swatted a fly. Her question sounds sincere, but anyone listening knows she is playing with him, and he falls right into it. Lu Li lies nearby, still barely alive. His thoughts wander toward Lord Sui. He has never seen someone like this before. The air around the city lord feels thick, like it's pressing down on his chest. The bloodlust in the atmosphere is so strong, it feels like breathing in smoke. Lu Li knows this person is no ordinary enemy. This is Wu Yu's superior, someone far above her in rank and power. In his mind, the truth becomes clear. No matter what happens now, he stands no chance. But even in this hopeless moment, he makes a decision. He won't expose Wu Yu. If he is going to die, he will die protecting the one person who saved him. Dragging her down would be the worst kind of betrayal. Lord Sui doesn't care about any of that. He shouts again, demanding answers. He wants Wu Yu to tremble, to submit. But she stays cold and composed. She tells him she still doesn't understand him. This only makes Sui angrier. Red lightning dances around him. The pressure in the air builds fast. Far in the distance, players watching from mountain peaks begin to panic. Some scream for their friends to run. Others just turn and flee without looking back. Creatures nearby panic too. Some swim away with all their strength. Others talk about moving homes entirely. No one wants to live near this spoiled monster. Lord Sui tries again to flex his authority. He boasts about his title, claiming that he runs all of Blood Moon City. He reminds everyone that Wu Yu is just a hall master responsible for resources and some blood-related realm. His voice grows louder, as if volume can prove his point. Wu Yu responds with facts, not noise. She points out that the city is broke. Funds are running low. Someone needs to cut down on spending, and it looks like Lord Sui's palace should be the first to suffer. Her words are simple, but each one is like a slap to his pride. Sui snaps. He brings up the past, shouting that she only has power because his father brought her in. Like a child still hiding behind his parents, he tries to remind her who made her what she is. Wu Yu doesn't flinch. She suggests raising taxes on officials. Her tone is casual, as if she's talking about the weather. Then she drops another blow, cutting the military budget for invading the player's world. Her words land hard, and Sui is left shaking with rage. His anger boils over. He screams that he is stronger, that she has no right to defy him. The ground cracks. Lightning falls from the sky. The area shakes like it's about to split open. He pours out so much energy, the land around them crumbles. Red fire and smoke rise everywhere. But Wu Yu remains firm. Her voice cuts through the storm. She explains that Dan Yu Hall has always managed the city's resources. That has never changed. Without waiting for more nonsense, Wu Yu turns toward Lu Li. She tells everyone that if Sui has nothing useful to say, then she's taking this broken man with her. Lord Sui loses his patience. He demands that Lu Li be left behind. He says it's not his order, but one from Master Yu. He throws that name around like a shield, trying to hide the fact that he can't control anything himself. Wu Yu listens quietly. Her face shows no emotion, not even a flicker of hesitation. She agrees without question, but her calmness hides something deeper. She walks up to Lu Li and in one smooth motion ends his life. His head separates cleanly from his body. There's no ceremony, no pause, just cold, perfect action. But Wu Yu doesn't walk away. She picks up the head and studies it like it's a piece of art. She comments that she finds it nicely shaped, and then decides to keep it as a decoration. Her voice carries no sadness, only amusement. Before anyone can react, she vanishes into a glowing portal, slipping away with her prize. Behind her, the two minions chuckle like clowns. One of them mocks Wu Yu, saying she always acts wild but still follows orders when it matters. The other laughs even harder, joking about how amusing her face looked when she killed her handsome toy. Lord Sui doesn't laugh. He lifts one finger without warning and red beams shoot out like spears. The beams tear through both minions in an instant, cutting them into pieces. The cries echo briefly before fading forever. He stands there, teeth clenched in rage. His voice is bitter. Wu Yu may have followed Master Yu's order, but she ignored his. That insult stings more than anything. His pride burns. He talks about breaking her spirit one day, crushing her confidence until she crawls at his feet. He imagines a future where she is nothing more than a dog obeying his every word. His fantasy is full of control, but only shows how weak he really is. Later, inside the secret part of Blood Moon City known as the Evolution Blood Pond, something strange begins to happen. Wu Yu puts the head of Lu Li into the red glowing pond. The moment it touches the blood, it starts to heal. Lu Li tells her about the outside world. His brother, as it turns out, once fell head over heels for not one, not two, but 3 transvestites at the same time, only to realize that their love was nothing more than a well-planned scheme to kill him and take his money. Wu Yu listens, her amusement reaching new heights. The outside world, in her opinion, is far more entertaining than she ever expected. This is just the beginning. There is still so much more to hear. With a playful smirk, she urges Lu Li to continue. The night is still young, and the ridiculousness of human nature is a tale that never truly ends. Lu Li, lost in thought, realizes something odd. He has never been this talkative before. Even when he reunited with Ah Fei, his focus remained on finding clues about his big brother. But now, for some reason, words come easily. Something about Wu Yu makes him want to share everything buried inside him. Her question catches him off guard. If both he and Ham Yixiao are players, then what makes him think she will continue helping him? There is nothing for her to gain and everything to lose. Kicking him out would bring only benefits with no downsides. Lu Li acknowledges the reality of the situation. He feels grateful that she hasn't turned him into nothing but ashes. That alone is reason enough to be honest with her. The more he searches for the truth, the further away his brother seems to be. Every step forward makes him feel even more powerless. Wu Yu is his last hope. If she's willing to help, then he is willing to give her everything he has. Lu Li, with desperation clear in his voice, offers everything he has, hoping to secure the help he needs. However, instead of immediate support, he is met with a response that makes him question his life choices. Wu Yu, with a smirk that could make even the bravest warriors tremble, tells him if he is really offering everything, then why not prove his sincerity by licking her feet clean? She is testing just how far he is willing to go. She then gives him another command. All he has to do is to raise his hips like an obedient pet, wag like a happy dog, and start calling her master from onwards. Luli hesitates, as so-called willingness to sacrifice everything seems to have some very clear limits. Wu Yu, expecting nothing less, sighs in disappointment. However, just when she's about to give up on him, he suddenly makes a move. Strangely, instead of rejection, his action leaves Wu Yu caught off guard. Her face, which usually holds nothing but arrogance, suddenly flushes red. She quickly turns away, clearly embarrassed. This was not the reaction she was expecting. She coughs loudly to cover up the awkward moment. With a tone that barely hides her flustered state, she acknowledges his determination. However, she does not forget to remind him of the brutal reality. The gap between his current strength and what he wishes to achieve is far wider than he can even begin to imagine. The world they live in does not operate on dreams alone. Strength determines everything. In their world, all creatures are classified into 3 broad categories that are further divided into 9 ranks. At the bottom, the weakest beings belong to the lowest rank, 9th, and are known as poor. These creatures have the most miserable existence, doing nothing but hunting weaker monsters for food while desperately trying to avoid becoming someone else's meal. A step above them is the 8th rank of warriors. These creatures, after devouring enough weaker beings, gain enough power to rise above the lowest rank. The process is simple: eat, survive, and grow stronger. Some of these warriors, instead of continuing to fight, are captured and forced into hard labor. Farming, transporting goods, cutting trees, anything that requires brute strength becomes their daily life. The 7th rank belongs to poisoners. These are warriors who manage to gather enough resources and are promoted through sheer survival. Reaching this stage comes with benefits. They not only grow stronger, but also gain the chance to learn and refine their techniques. Their societal standing improves as well, allowing them to work in fields like business, engineering, or even assassination. Yes, assassination, because in this world, even killing has a career path. These 3 lowest ranks make up the majority of creatures struggling in this world. However, some beings are born with a status far above these ranks, never needing to fight their way up from the bottom. Beyond the lowest ranks lies the middle category. The first step in this category is the 6th rank, known as evil spirits. When monsters from lower ranks reach a certain level of strength, they become eligible to participate in a promotion exam. If they pass, they earn the title of evil spirit, which grants them the right to join organized military forces. These beings are the pride of their communities, finally stepping into a position of recognition and respect. The next step on the ladder belongs to the 5th rank beings, known as demons. Monsters at this level possess considerable combat strength. Their power is recognized officially, and they hold important positions within their cities. Unlike the struggling creatures below them, these beings no longer have to fight for survival in the same way. They enjoy authority, respect, and the privilege of looking down on those beneath them. One such monster, the Blood Slave, had already proven to be a nightmare for you to deal with. This creature, ranked as a demon, had no trouble trying to eliminate opponents with ease. The power gap between a regular fighter and a 5th-ranked demon is so vast that even standing against one feels impossible. However, reaching this level is not easy. Among 10,000 monsters, only one manages to break through and become a demon. The rest remain stuck in an endless cycle of struggling and failure. The 4th rank belongs to creatures known as ferocious. These monsters have reached a terrifying level of power, capable of leveling mountains and wiping entire rivers off the map. In the world of monsters, these beings are considered true powerhouses. They are not just feared, they are respected and given a high status. Their opinions hold weight in decision-making. They participate in councils and discussions, helping to determine the direction of development within their territories. If a monster reaches this level, survival is no longer a daily struggle. Instead, they gain influence, power, and most importantly, the ability to make others do the work for them. These 3 ranks, demons, ferocious, and evil spirits, form the backbone of the monster world. They represent the middle category, the crucial stepping stone between weak creatures and those who truly dominate. Beyond them lies the 3rd rank, which belongs to the elite known as Hall Masters. Every city has 4 Hall Masters, each in charge of a crucial sector: military, resources, equipment, and food. These individuals hold significant power, working together to manage their cities while also keeping each other in check. Their existence ensures that no single force gains complete control, creating a balance of power. Describing their combat ability is difficult because few can truly understand it. Those who have witnessed their strength firsthand rarely live to tell the tale. Anyone who reaches this level stands at the peak of authority and strength. Above them exist an even higher rank city lords. A city lord holds the highest authority within their jurisdiction, possessing both unmatched strength and total control over their city. The entire monster world is divided into 9 cities, meaning there are 9 city lords in total. Each of these cities contains at least 100 million monsters. Due to differences in geographical locations, management styles, and natural resources, every city has its own unique system and structure. However, one thing remains the same: city lords stand at the very top, ruling over all within their domains. Wu Yu finishes her explanation, making it painfully clear just how far Lu Li is from his goal. The gap between his current strength and the peak of the monster world is so massive that it almost feels like a joke. He acknowledges this reality, though the weight of it presses heavily on his mind. Then Wu Yu brings up the real problem: the mysterious person responsible for the connection between the player and monster worlds, the one who ordered City Lord Sui to kill him. Only one individual has that level of power and authority. That person is none other than Yu Zhu, the one who stands at the absolute peak of the monster world. Her name alone carries a weight that crushes all who stand beneath her. No one knows what she looks like, and for good reason. She is not just a ruler, she is a legend. Every corner of the monster world bends to her will. Her power is unmatched, her control is absolute. Calling her a goddess wouldn't even be an exaggeration, it would probably be an understatement. Wu Yu then shifts the conversation, offering a piece of wisdom. Sometimes true strength comes from knowing when to let go. Growing up means understanding that the world does not revolve around one's own struggles. It is a hard truth, but an important one. Lu Li, however, finds no comfort in these words. The task ahead of him is beyond difficult. It is something that most would call impossible, but for him, there is no other path. His brother, the person who saved him from freezing or starving to death, is out there suffering. He has failed to rescue him. Worse, he has dragged Ah Fei into this mess, making everything even worse. The realization that he has done nothing but bring trouble weighs on him, making him feel utterly useless. Lu Li then steps out of the blood evolution pond and is completely healed. His body is restored, but his mind is still drowning in guilt. Wu Yu calls him over and tells him to rest his head on her lap. Without hesitation, he obeys. The moment his head rests on her lap, she instructs him to breathe deeply and relax. She reminds him that carrying the weight of everything alone will only wear him down. Taking the blame for every bad thing that happens is exhausting and pointless. Lu Li wants to argue, but Wu Yu cuts him off before he can. If he continues to be like this, you will never grow stronger. His motivation is completely misplaced. Everything he does is for someone else, never for himself. This idea shocks him. He has never thought about it that way before. Wu Yu challenges him to look within. True strength comes from an unshakable desire buried deep inside. She asks him to be honest with himself. Every time he fights, does he feel excitement? When he wins, does he experience true happiness from the depths of his soul? These questions force Lu Li to confront something he has never acknowledged before: the truth of his own heart. Lu Li thinks about it carefully. Happiness. That is not something he has ever associated with battle before. At the very beginning, everything felt like nothing more than a game. Calling it a game might even be an exaggeration. His only goal was to find his brother as soon as possible. That was all that mattered. Gaining strength did not change that feeling. Every fight he experienced felt dull, repetitive, and completely meaningless. There was no thrill, no excitement, only an endless cycle of battles that did nothing to stir his heart. Things started to change as the world around him evolved. Slowly, he began to crave the emotions that battles could bring, especially the pure, unfiltered rage that came with them. But even then, something was missing. No fight had ever made him truly happy. That all changed when he met Afi, Luna, Huazhou, Little Chili, and the people from the Daybreak Guild. For the first time, competition ignited something deep inside him. That was the moment he discovered the pure joy of fighting. The rush of the battle, the overwhelming thrill, everything else disappeared. No worries, no burdens. Only the fight. The only thing he desired in those moments was victory. When he became everything, every enemy standing in his way felt like an obstacle he had to tear down. The hunger to slash through every opponent, to come out on top, to dominate every battlefield. It took over his entire being. Wu Yu watches him with a knowing look. A small smirk forms on her lips as she recognizes the change in him. The beast inside Lu Li has finally awakened. Lu Li drifts into sleep in her lap. The moment of peace does not last forever. Eventually, she nudges him and lets out an impatient sigh. Her leg is gone completely numb, and she is not about to suffer in silence. She orders him to get up, making it very clear that she has no intention of letting him laze around any longer. Lu Li scrambles up in a panic, flustered and embarrassed. He hurriedly shifts to sit beside her. Wu Yu, now free from her temporary suffering, gives him an approving nod. Now that he has finally come to terms with himself, the road ahead will no longer be as confusing. Lu Li, still a little groggy, asks what he should do next. Wu Yu stares at him for a moment. The way he is looking at her, like a lost puppy waiting for instructions, almost makes her laugh. Almost. Instead, she decides to act mysterious, making it seem like the answer is something obvious that he should already know. Luli squints at her, sensing something is off. After a short silence, he hesitantly asks if she actually has no idea either. Wu Yu immediately denies it. Impossible. She is his master. Of course, she knows. She is also a genius who was born at ferocious rank, meaning she never had to go through any struggles to become strong. Strength came naturally. Just breathing was enough to make her grow stronger. Unfortunately, that means she has absolutely no idea what advice to give him. This is a problem. Leaving things like this would make her look bad. She cannot let that happen. There is only one solution. She needs to say something that sounds smart and make him run in circles for a while. He looks dumb enough not to notice. Luli stares at her. She said all of that out loud. Wu Yu freezes. A second later, her expression lights up. A brilliant idea pops into her head. With a sparkle in her eyes, she confidently declares that she has the perfect answer. Han Yixio. Luli immediately reacts. His big brother. Wu Yu nods and brings up something Han Yixio once said. Those who seek strength should take advantage of every resource available to them. If that is the case, then there is one place he must visit, Blood Moon City, a place filled with endless opportunities for growth. One of the most valuable resources within the city belongs to the Hall Master of the Southern Hall. This Hall Master possesses a secret technique that enhances a person's physique, making it the best possible method to lay a strong foundation. Luli processes this information carefully. Based on his brother's deep understanding of the game's mechanics, this advice actually sounds reasonable. That means the best course of action would be to start at the Southern Hall. Wu Yu claps her hands, satisfied. She encourages him to go on and do his best. His master believes in him. Then, with a completely straight face, she casually drops another piece of information, one that changes everything. She happens to have a terrible relationship with the other Hall Masters. If they find out he is her disciple, he will not just be in trouble. He will be dead on the spot. In other words, getting into the Southern Hall will be entirely up to him. Luli freezes. His brain refuses to process what he just heard. A second later, he lets out a horrified exclamation. Wu Yu raises an eyebrow. She asks him what is he screaming for. If he thought this was going to be easy. She grabs his cheek and gives it a firm tug. Before leaving, he better make himself useful and give her a proper leg massage. She suffered while he was napping, after all. Luli yelps in pain. His complaints do nothing to save him. Later, Luli moves through the streets of Blood Moon City, blending into the crowd with a long robe covering him completely. His appearance has changed so much that even if someone had known him before, they would not recognize him now. The transformation is not just because of the robe, but also the effects of the blood evolution pool. He recalls the instructions from Wu Yu. Keeping a low profile is not just a suggestion, it is necessary for survival. In the eyes of this world, he is already dead. Thoughts flood his mind, making it hard to focus. Everything has changed too fast. Blood Moon City, a place filled with terrifying monsters, now surrounds him. Danger lurks in every corner. Enemies stronger than him exist in every street. His so-called master is unreliable, always acting like she knows everything, but clearly making things up half the time. Nothing about this situation is ideal, but there is no time to complain. This city must become the foundation of his strength. No matter what it takes, his power must keep growing. One day it will reach a level where no one can stand in his way, not even Yu Zhu. Only then will he reclaim his big brother. A massive structure stands ahead. This is the destination, the first step in his journey toward true strength. It is the Southern Tao Tai Tower of the Blood Moon City. Two enormous guards stand at the entrance, looking as if they were sculpted from stone. Their presence alone makes it clear they are not here just for decoration. Strength radiates from them like a warning to anyone foolish enough to cause trouble. Luli recalls the words from Wu Yu. The Southern Hall Master controls all of food in Blood Moon City. Every meal, every ingredient, every bite eaten in this city falls under her authority. More than a leader, she is an obsessed gourmet completely devoted to the art of fine dining. Tao Tai Tower exists solely for her enjoyment, a place built so she can experience the rarest and most luxurious dishes. If she is anywhere, she is here. Luli steps toward the entrance with confidence. The guards immediately stop him. Their expressions turn sharp, clearly ready to deal with trouble. They demand to know what business he has here. His answer is simple. He wants to eat. For a brief moment, silence fills the air. Then both guards erupt into laughter. Their laughter is not normal. They act as if they have just heard the greatest joke of their lives. One of them suddenly steps forward, his grin stretching across his face like a poorly written villain in a cheap play. Without warning, his mouth opens wide and a deafening shriek bursts out. A shockwave of wind rushes toward Lu Li, filled with the force of sheer arrogance and a complete lack of proper manners. The second guard stands back, arms crossed, watching the scene unfold with the interest of someone observing a stray insect. To them, this is nothing more than entertainment. Strength is the only thing that matters in this place. A meal at Tao Tai Tower is not something just anyone can afford. The minimum requirement to even step foot inside is reaching the rank of evil spirit. Someone like him is completely beneath them. Lu Li braces himself against the impact, barely managing to stay on his feet. The force behind that attack was no joke. The realization sinks in quickly. Even the guards are this powerful. Walking through the front door by force is impossible. A whisper from his memory surfaces. Wu Yu had shared his secret with him before he left. If meeting the Southern Hall Master becomes difficult, there is another way to get inside. His posture straightens as he steps forward once more. The first guard's smirk vanishes, replaced with an expression of mild annoyance. A warning is issued, making it clear that if he dares to take another step, the consequences will be far worse. The second guard narrows his eyes, ready to throw him out if necessary. Calmly, Lu Li gives his new answer. He is not here as a customer. His purpose is different. He is a chef. The moment the words leave his mouth, everything shifts. The guards straighten up like puppets whose strings have been yanked. Their aggressive attitudes disappear in an instant. There is no hesitation as they step aside and open the doors. The hostility from before disappears completely, as if it never existed. Apologies come quickly, along with hurried invitations to enter. The doors swing open without hesitation, and respect now fills their voices. The same guards who were ready to break his bones a moment ago now treat him like an honored guest. Strength might be feared in Blood Moon City, but chefs, they are treated like royalty. Once inside, a butler approaches with a formal tone, confirming if Lu Li is the chef sent to cook for the hall master. Lu Li gives a simple response, confirming his role. Without wasting any time, the assistant urges him to follow, and as they walk through the grand hall, the smell of delicious food drifts through the air, making its way to Lu Li's nose. He passes by a table where two demons are enjoying their meals, loudly saying praises about the food. One of them claims that even after eating at countless places, nothing compares to the dishes served at Tao Ti Tower. The other agrees without hesitation, insisting that the taste never gets old. Even Lu Li finds himself appreciating the rich aromas surrounding him. Despite being in an enemy's territory, good food still has its charm. They continue walking until the butler points ahead, informing him that the kitchen is just a little further. Upon arrival, the butler provides an update on the current situation. 4 chefs have already begun cooking before him. They are now at the final stage of their preparations, meaning he must wait before presenting his own dish. In the center of the kitchen, a high-ranking butler sits comfortably behind a table, overseeing the cooking process. The chefs move with focus, each one carefully handling their ingredients. A sharp ringing sound echoes through the room as the head butler presses a small bell. With an authoritative voice, he instructs the staff to collect the dishes from the chefs. The first chef, clearly shaken, mutters about how his hands trembled the entire time due to nervousness. The third chef, brimming with confidence, brushes off the fear and insists that their food tastes just fine. He even warns the staff to handle his dish carefully, so presentation remains flawless. The staff members gather the plates and carry them over to the head butler's table. Each dish is unique. The second chef has prepared a southern-style fried rice. The fourth one has made a fragrant and spicy beefsteak. The first chef offers a stir-fried sea worm dish mixed with bamboo shoots. Meanwhile, the third chef presents a braised limb soaked in thick blood sauce. With everything ready, the head butler makes an announcement. All the dishes will be taken behind the screen, where the hall master will taste them and make the final decision. Lu Li watches this unfold, feeling a sense of curiosity. The hall master is present. That alone is good luck. But this entire situation feels like a cooking competition, one where the contestants seem more terrified than excited. Their nervous expressions make it clear that failure is not an option. After some time, the head butler finally delivers the results. The hall master has tasted everything, and now comes the judgment. Each dish receives its share of harsh criticism. The first contestant's bamboo shoots are cut too thick, ruining the texture. The fourth chef's steak is overcooked. The second chef's fried rice is too oily. The third contestant's braised limb lacks proper seasoning. However, as soon as the verdict is given, panic spreads like wildfire. The first chef desperately pleads for another chance. The second one, already sinking into despair, mutters that everything is over. The fourth chef, refusing to accept the result, shouts in disbelief. The head butler, showing no emotion, calmly thanks all the chefs for their dedication. He, along with the rest of the staff, bows in respect. But in the blink of an eye, everything turns into a nightmare. A flash of energy tears through the air, and within seconds, all the butlers' heads are sent flying. Their bodies collapse instantly, leaving a gruesome scene behind. Lu Li watches in shock, unable to process what just happened. The butler who guided him earlier steps forward, unfazed by the bloodbath. With a polite yet unsettling smile, he turns to Lu Li and informs him that it is now his turn. I hope that you liked today's video, and if you did, hit that like button as today's goal is 1,500 likes. Comment next part down below for the next part. Also, consider subscribing with the notification bell on to get notified as soon as a new video drops onto the channel. You can also join the channel to support me financially and watch videos before public release. I'll meet you in the next video. Until then, thanks for watching.